Welcome back to Fast RC, everybody. My name is Ryan, and in today's video, we're going to talk about two upgrades that I made to my Traxxas TRX-6. So let's go ahead and get to it, and I'll see you on the other side of the intro. Alright, so with these upgrades, I'm going to rank them 1 and 2. 1 being probably the best upgrade, 2 being also a really good upgrade, but maybe not something you got to do right away. So let's just go ahead and start and get into upgrade number 1, and that is going to be the motor and ESC combo. So if you do get this truck, or if you've had this truck for a while, you know that when it comes out of the box, it comes in with the XL5 ESC along with the 21-turn tooth-brushed motor. Pretty standard package for all the TRX4s and TRX6s out there. And while I don't hate that motor and ESC combo, I'll be honest, for the TRX6 and how much it weighs, around 11 to 12 pounds, I do think it is a little bit underpowered, and it's like I don't want to trash that combo too much because I do use it in other rigs and smaller and lighter rigs, but for this specific truck, the TRX6, I do think it is underpowered. So it was one of the first upgrades I made when I bought this truck back in 2019, was to add an ESC motor combo, and at the time I had this Castle ESC laying around along with the Hobby Wing censored motor, and while I guess that combo really was intended for like short course trucks or 8-scale short. Actually, I think I bought that combo for a Techno SET410 that I had at the time. I decided to take it since I wasn't using it, and I put it into this rig, and it's been in there ever since like 2020. So been pretty happy with it. It's got tons and tons of power. It's a 4,000 kV motor, Castle Mamba ESC, older version, but still works pretty well and has a powerful enough BEC to run an upgraded servo. But this thing, let me tell you, on the stock motor and ESC combo, the XL5, in first gear, this thing would do like 5 or 6 miles an hour, and then in second gear, it'd be something like 10 or 11 miles an hour. Really wasn't really that fast. But on this combo, I haven't officially timed it, but I am pretty sure it's like around 25 miles an hour at least in second gear. This thing absolutely rips on 3S. And the crazy thing is that even at that speed on 3S and the amount of power, I've never broken anything in the drivetrain, believe it or not. Just kind of goes to show how robust this truck is. This thing just completely rips on 3S. And on 2S, it's got plenty of power. And then in the lower gear and the first gear, it's got enough low-end torque and modulation to do a lot of rock crawling. You don't even really notice a difference, or that it's like a short course style motor. So like I said, ranking number 1, motor ESC, by far my favorite upgrade, and definitely worthy of this truck. If you have it, or if you're thinking of getting this truck, I would highly recommend upgrading the motor and ESC. You won't regret it. Alright, and the second upgrade I'm going to talk about, of course, is the servo. So I have kind of harped on servos from Traxxas and all the different models of servos that they usually send with their RTRs, and just kind of how bad they are. And so no different in this video. I'm going to harp on that servo again. The stock servo that comes with this is a 2075X, which at least is a Metal Gear servo and waterproof, which is a good thing, but definitely is underpowered for this rig. Now, I do want to note, if you do have this truck, or you have a TRX4 and you're using the stock servo, it's okay. Like, it's not something you need to change right away. Is it a little bit underpowered? Yes, it is, but it's not the worst thing in the world, so I don't want to trash it too much. But for myself, it was one of the first things when I was really getting into rock crawling with this rig, that I noticed that on certain occasions when I'd get into tight spots into some of the rocks, the servo just wouldn't have enough juice to get it over to, get it out of some tight spots. So after I did the motor and ESC combo, one of the next things I did is I went out and I bought another servo. This particular servo is the Traxxas 400. Got the nice red anodized body on it. I think it's metal or titanium gear, something like that. Supposedly 400 ounces of torque. Overall, been pretty happy with this servo. Got plenty of power. Out of all the servos I've ever bought before, this is not the most powerful servo I've had. I've had some crazy, like, high-tech mega torque servos before with like 600-700 ounces of torque. But this one is perfectly fine for the TRX-6. That around that 350 to 400 inches of torque is plenty for this truck. Haven't had an issue. Haven't had any brownouts or anything like that from the Castle BC, which has been good. If you do upgrade the servo, one thing I do want to mention is this truck's stock comes with a plastic servo horn, so you're definitely going to want to upgrade that to a metal servo horn. You can see here I actually did upgrade that to a metal servo horn. That's just the absolute must, because that stock plastic one strips out pretty easy. So do I recommend upgrading the servo? Absolutely. Is it like 100% necessary? Probably not. If you're having fun with the stock servo, by all means, you could keep it in there. But if you do want to get into a little bit more serious rock crawling or get out of some tighter situations, I would recommend upgrading the servo. As far as like which servos to upgrade to, this Traxxas 400 is pretty good, but it is a little bit on the expensive side. If I was going to do this again, knowing that Traxxas and the size of servos they use are, I'm not, and somebody comment on this if maybe I had this wrong, but I think they use like a proprietary like size of servo, because I've had other servos like Hi-Techs and different brands, Savox, and they usually have a hard time fitting in Traxxas vehicles, so that's why I went with the Traxxas branded servo for this truck. But there are other servos out there that are really good. You know, I've seen like EcoPower. I actually used the EcoPower once. There's Savox, there's Hi-Tech, there's all these other brands that you might be able to get at a better price. I'm just not sure about the fitment though. But like I was going to say, if I was going to do this again, I would probably go and try to see about getting a servo that comes out of like the Traxxas sledge. I want to say that it's like the 2275X or something like that. And if you find that servo like on eBay, sometimes you could find it for like 35, 40, 50 bucks for that servo from the sledge, and that thing gets you around 300 to 330 inches of torque, ounce of torque. Sorry if I messed that up. Which is right in the ballpark of this Traxxas 400 servo at like half the price. So if I was going to recommend it, and if I was going to do it again, that's probably the route I would go, is go to eBay and try to get like a Traxxas sledge servo for like half the price with like 80% of the torque. So that's my recommendation. If you got something out of that, like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. But that's all I got for the last upgrade. Alright, so this is just a quick video on my own personal build. As you can see, my TRX-6 here, I really didn't do much to it. I just upgraded the motor, ESC, and the servo horn. That was pretty much it. And I really think that speaks to just the truck in general. This truck is a fantastic truck. It's a fantastic platform. Is it a competition crawler? Absolutely not. Like, I'm sure this thing can get out-crawled by some other crazy rigs and Vanquishes and axial rigs and stuff like that. But I have a blast with this rig. This current electronic setup that I have with the motor, ESC, and the servo, I can crawl, I can bash, I could trail run, I could do pretty much anything I want, and I never worry about reliability or brownouts or anything like that. So definitely recommend these upgrades. I gave a little bit of tips on which servos I would upgrade if I was going to do it now, but totally up to you. If you have a TRX-6, let me know if you've done the same upgrades as me or what you've done on your side, or if you're thinking about getting a TRX-6, what would you do as far as upgrades? So let me know in the comments. So if you got anything out of this video, I'd really appreciate if you can like, subscribe. If you're interested in more TRX-6 content, I'm going to have a couple videos popping up here shortly where I'm going to talk about things that I like about the Traxxas TRX-6, which is going to be a lot of things, and some of the things that I don't like about the Traxxas TRX-6 if you're interested in that. But by all means, appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next video.